Hello there, you're watching our television. This is Daily Business. I am Pamutha Kattukampala. In our top stories for tonight, merchandise trade account narrows in January 2023. International Finance Corporation revitalizes banking sector. Welcome back, you're watching Daily Business, and now news in detail. The deficit in the merchandise trade account narrowed to $410 million in January 2023. Now, this was revealed by the External Sector Performance Report compiled by the Economic Research Department of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. This narrowing in the merchandise trade account has been attributed to a larger decline in imports compared to the decline in exports. However, the merchandise trade deficit in January 2023 widened compared to the deficit of $358 million recorded in December 2022. In January 2023 over January 2022, earnings from merchandise exports declined 11.3% to $978 million, continuing the moderation observed since September 2022, though at a slower pace than expected. This decline was observed across all main categories, and the compression of industrial exports was noticeable. Expenditure on merchandise imports remained at subdued levels. Year-on-year expenditure on imports declined 29.2% to $1,388 million. The decline in expenditure in all sectors contributed to this decline, although the decline in intermediate goods contributed the most. In terms of trade, the ratio of the price of exports to the price of imports improved by 3.1% as the decline in the prices of imports surpassed the decline in the prices of exports. The export volume index increased by 5.3%, while the unit value index declined by 15.7%, indicating the decline in export earnings was contributed by lower export prices. The import volume and unit value index declined 13.3% and 18.3% respectively, implying that the decline in import was resulted by both the volume and unit value effects. The central bank report on external sector performance also shows that workers' remittances recovered to $437 million during January 2023. Now, this is in comparison to $259 million in the corresponding month in the previous year. Earnings from tourism in the month of January 2023 are estimated at $162 million in comparison to $127 million in the previous month and $152 million in the corresponding month in the previous year. A marginal net outflow of foreign investment amounting to $0.4 million was recorded in the government securities market in January 2023. Meanwhile, foreign inflows to the Colombo Stock Exchange included primary and secondary market transactions, recorded a marginal net inflow of $1 million during the month of January 2023. Gross official reserves stood at $2.1 billion as at end January 2023. This included the swap facility from the People's Bank of China, equivalent to around $1.4 billion, which is subject to conditionalities on usability. The central bank recorded a net absorption of foreign exchange from the market in January 2023, resulting in a marginal improvement in liquid reserves by end of January 2023. Exchange rate continued to remain stable through January 2023 with a marginal appreciation. Accordingly, during the year up to the 28th of February 2023, the rupee recorded an appreciation of 0.4% against the US dollar. Meanwhile, reflecting cross-currency movements, the Sri Lanka rupee appreciated against the euro, the pound sterling, the Japanese yen, the Indian rupee and the Australian dollar during the year up to the 28th of February 2023. Real effective exchange rate depreciated marginally during January 2023 and remained largely below the threshold of 100 index points, indicating an improvement in Sri Lanka's external competitiveness. Meanwhile, the International Finance Corporation, the investment arm of the World Bank, is providing a cross-currency swap facility to three of Sri Lanka's leading national banks. Now, the swap facility is intended to support Sri Lanka amid the economic crisis, as these banks deal with over 30% of Sri Lanka's remittances and exports. The International Finance Corporation facility will provide $400 million over 1 year to the Commercial Bank of Ceylon, Nations Trust Bank and Sampath Bank. It will help facilitate imports of essential goods such as food, medicine and fertilizer, most of which are traded in US dollars. The facility will further support the bank's financing of exports of goods and services for their clients while allowing them to make US dollar denominated debt repayments. Financial Institutions Group Portfolio Manager for South Asia with the International Finance Corporation, Joo Myung Park, holds that Sri Lanka's economy continues to feel severe US dollar funding constraints. The portfolio manager maintains that the IFC's cross-currency swap facility will provide critical forex liquidity, helping support the private sector and encouraging longer-term funding flows to the markets. He added that the entity expects the financing to boost investor confidence and attract fresh capital to support the Sri Lankan economy. The International Finance Corporation is also working on further plans to support its client banks with future long-term funding and advisory services. This new sub-facility follows the reactivation of trade finance lines with IFC partner banks, which have been cautiously managing risks in a challenging operating environment. This was initiated under the Global Trade Finance Program in January 2023. With this facility, Commercial Bank of Ceylon and Sampath Bank will now be able to improve access to medium and long-term finance for their clients, helping local business sustain operations. Stay tuned for more stories after this short commercial break. Welcome back, you're watching State of Business. Now, Sri Lanka is set to receive its first group of post-pandemic Chinese tourists via flight that will depart Shanghai Pudong International Airport tomorrow. Sri Lanka is one of the first 20 countries to resume the organization of outbound group tours from China since COVID-19. The Sri Lankan Consul General Anuradha Fernando began to work closely with travel agencies and other partners to reopen direct flights between Shanghai and Colombo. This process began as soon as the Chinese Ministry of Culture and Tourism announced the decision to allow travel agencies to resume booking groups to travel to 20 countries and regions. With our tropical climate and cultural heritage, Sri Lanka has been a popular destination for holiday makers from around the world. In 2018, Sri Lanka received a record 280,000 tourists from China. China is the biggest trading partner of Sri Lanka and the largest source of foreign investments. The signing of a free trade agreement this year, the trade volume is expected to increase. Meanwhile, the bilateral air services agreement recently signed with the Netherlands provides a stronger platform to intensify connectivity between the countries as well as the European and Asian regions. The instrument inked at the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs provides for the designated airlines of both countries to fly between Amsterdam and Katonaika and beyond their respective territories. The agreement broadens avenues for leisure and business travel and enhances business interaction while providing a speedier conduit for cargo transfer. Sri Lanka has been a popular destination among Dutch travellers. 11,987 Dutch tourists have travelled to Sri Lanka in 2022 despite the travel restrictions which prevailed during certain periods in the year. The signature of the agreement reflects the mutual desire to further deepen the bilateral relationship. The two countries celebrated 70 years of formal diplomatic relations in 2021. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan ambassador to China, Dr. Palitha Kohona, recently met the vice president of the U2 New Energy Group, Chi Wei-chun, a global leader in electric battery production. Ambassador Kohona updated the company's vice president on investment opportunities and the receptive business climate in Sri Lanka. The group recognized the need to move some of the production facilities closer to the car manufacturers. A plant has already been built in Germany. China remains the top manufacturer of electric cars, as green and low carbon energy is the slogan of U2 New Energy Group. Dr. Kohona, who was the guest speaker at a seminar, spoke at length on why Sri Lanka should be the top travel destination in the minds of everyone. Ambassador Kohona highlighted that Sri Lanka is safe and is home to many stunning attractions, as it is home to many globally important Buddhist sites and warm, welcoming people. The seminar was organized by the popular home and abroad news magazine, the Ambassadors Club, and the Just Sun Group at the group's headquarters in Xiamen. The ambassador also held discussions with Shen Hongtong, a national China director of the Xiamen Shaohui Travel Technology Company, which is a major coordinator of travel operators, including online platforms. They will log into the travel promotion event being hosted by the embassy and will assist with the mission's tourism promotion activities. The ambassadors were hosted a dinner by the president of Emperor Teas, a company that provides the gifts for China's leaders when foreign leaders are being entertained. These gifts consist of the most exquisite teas of China. Now, for the first time after 2019, Sri Lanka tourism recorded over 100,000 tourist arrivals for 2 consecutive months this year. This is driven by Russian travelers during the first 26 days of February. A total of 100,536 tourists arrived, propelling the cumulative figure to 203,081, continuing the growth momentum and boosting hopes for a good year. Provisional data recently released by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Russia leads as the top source market, reflecting 26% or 26,718 of total arrivals during the first 26 days. This is followed by India with 13% or 12,972, the United Kingdom with 8% or 8,129, Germany with 7% or 7,257, and France with 6% or 5,841. The data also showed that daily average arrivals have remained at 3,886 compared to below 2,000 in 2022, following negative publicity due to the economic crisis. Sri Lanka continues to bask in the global spotlight for its unique tourism offerings, this time as a top next wildlife safari experience outside Africa. Sri Lanka has been recognized as one of the top wildlife safaris outside of Africa this year by the renowned Forbes magazine. Sri Lanka was ranked among India, US, Galapagos Islands and Australia as a top next safari option, with some tips on the best ways to enjoy them. It also noted that Sri Lanka also has a true classic safari product, and the combination of leopards and blue whales is totally unique. From the beginning of this year, Sri Lanka continually gained attention for its unique tourism offerings and its scenic beauty. Earlier, Sri Lanka was ranked 9th on a list of the 50 most Instagrammable places in the world in 2023 based on Big 7 travel social media data. It was also ranked among the top 24 countries to travel in 2023 by Travel Triangle, a leading online holiday marketplace. Analysts pointed out that the continuous global limelight on Sri Lanka for positive and deserving reasons have been a major boost to showcase the attractiveness of the destination. Well, with that, we wind up for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.